Alhamdulillah, Astaghfirullah, Bismillah. Welcome to Living Life Live, where we talk black facts, black artifacts, and black history. Where everything is my culture, your culture, our culture. Where I'm here for me, you, us, we. Let's do this. Now, before I begin, this is my first podcast video, so please, if you got any ignorance, post it, okay? If you got anything hatred you want to say, post that too, okay? Put whatever you want to say. Put whatever. I don't give a fuck. Because one thing I'm going to tell you, all publicity is good publicity. So let's move on. But before I do get into this, let's have a moment of silence for Judge, I'm not sure if I'm saying her name right, Judge Ether Salas or Judge Esther Salas. Let's give a moment of silence for her son. She just lost her son, where the FedEx delivery driver opened fire on her family at her front door. So let's have a moment of silence. I'm back. Like I said, FedEx driver opened fire on the front of the on her family. Her son got shot in his chest. I believe one single time. Now I don't know how old he is, but I know he ended up dying from this. Okay, and the guy ended up turning around and aiming at her husband and opening fire on her husband, and her husband was shot 3 times, I believe, and he's in critical condition. But let's send all the good energies, all the positive energies, so he have a fast, speedy recovery, you guys. But for real, the immortality and the mortality is gone. The good versus the bad is gone. The good versus the evil is gone. Pay attention. Like I said, everything that I'm going to be recording to you guys is going to be posted straight like this. No cuts, no fees, no nothing, okay? You get it how I get it. You get it flat like that. Flat like that. Just living life live. Everything live. We living this life. Fuck it, right? But listen, I just want to make this first podcast show. Let's have an applause for me. All right, everybody. All right, well, ain't nobody in here, but I'm telling you, there's going to be more people. You start small, you end up big, so stay with me. But let's get into what I wanted to get into. I'm here to talk all about my culture, okay? If you guys don't know, I want you guys to say their names with me. Say their names with me, okay? George Floyd, age 46. If you guys know, this happened in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Tongue twisted, little stone, whatever. I guess what ended up happening was there was a counterfeit 20 bill on the scene at the convenience store. The guy at the convenience store made a call. More than likely, probably an Arab, but whatever. He made the call on George Floyd. George Floyd was handcuffed, and Officer Derek Chauvin knelt on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. As Floyd pleaded for the 4 officers present and repeatedly told them he couldn't breathe, Chauvin kept his knee on his neck, even became unresponsive to George Floyd. 2 autopsy reports listed Floyd's death as a homicide, and they try to list it as other things. The actions that was taken against these 4 cops, they were fired. Chauvin faces most serious charges, second-degree murder, and the 3 other officers are charged in aiding and abetting the second-degree murder and manslaughter. So they got justice served only because people was there. Okay, this is what was saved, or what this is what was justice for George Floyd. Even though if you split that word, it's just us. Whatever. Say her name with me. Now, this young woman, very beautiful woman, a year younger than me. Brianna, when she died, anyway. Her name is Breonna Taylor, age 26. Beautiful woman. If you guys don't know the whole thing, and why we say her name, she was actually asleep. Okay, Breonna Taylor was asleep, and her and her boyfriend Kenneth Walker, they were sleeping, and 3 plainclothes officers came to their apartment with a search warrant about a drug case. They believed it was a breaking and entering, and Walker called 911 and fired his licensed firearm. He shot his gun. Walker is Kenneth, the boyfriend. He ended up shooting at the police. Now, reminder, these are 3 unclothed police officers. So, during this whole scuffle and him pulling his gun, remind you, they have all this false information. The officer shoots 8 times and kills Brianna laying in the bed there. Check her rap sheet. Check and see what she did. Great woman, okay? Now, these officers, I guess they've resigned, but nothing has been done, and charges or so-called charges are pending. Fuck all that. Where's the convictions? We need convictions for these sweet, puss-ass, suburban-ass cops. These sweet, hating-ass, suburban-ass cops. Whatever. And if you didn't know, that happened in Louisville, Kentucky. Stand strong. Say her name proudly. Breonna Taylor. Just us. We coming. That happened in Kentucky, Louisville. If you guys don't know, Atiana Jefferson, age 28. This happened in Miami, Florida, in 2019, which Atiana was at home. So the police officer shot and killed Jefferson through the window of her home in the presence of her 8-year-old nephew. The police were responding to the call from a neighbor who reported that Jefferson's front door had been left open. The officer was named Aaron Dean. He was resigned, but later indicted on murder charges. Sounds like to me a racist fucking cop shooting a black woman in the window. We can't keep our doors open. One thing I noticed about all these Karens and all these Derricks, the Derricks would be the corny ass white boys. What I know is about all these Derricks and all these Karens is they be making these phony ass calls to police, and police show up with another agenda. You understand? They show up with another agenda. If you haven't heard about the thing with Mike Ramos that happened in Austin, Texas, where the Austin police officer opened fired on him. I don't give a fuck if it was non-lethal, lethal, whatever. You still shot the fucking brother, and his hands was up, shirt rolled up, belly and nipples all out, and all that shit. But whatever. In God we trust. All right. Her name is Ora Roser, age 40 years old. Now, Ora Roser just happened in Ann Arbor, Michigan, 2014. She was at home. Roser's boyfriend, Victor Steffens, called 911 to ask the police to escort her out the house because of an altercation. The official report says that when the officer entered the home, Roser was holding a knife and refused to drop it. Officer Mark Raab, that's R-A-A-B, used his taser. Officer David Ride fired a single shot that killed Shorty. Ride did not face any charges over Roser's death. The police department and the Assembly implemented reforms, including equipping officers with body cameras. So all they did in Ann Arbor was this whole ass nigga, David Ride, killed her with a single shot. All they had to do was escort this black woman. He ended up shooting her with a single shot, and all Michigan could do was say, we're going to put some body cameras on them. Defund the police everywhere, all right? Because that lets you know what these motherfuckers really in it for, all right? These motherfuckers ain't really niggas. Motherfuckers just using this and abusing this. Moving on. Stephen Clark, age 22. Stephen Clark was murdered in Sacramento, California in 2018. He was standing in his grandmother's backyard. This young man was standing in his grandmother's backyard. The officer said that they believe Clark was holding a gun. After they shot this young man over 20 times just to find out he was holding a fucking Android, an iPhone. Sound like the Trayvon Martin case, right? This happened in 2018 in Sacramento, California. The district attorney declined to file criminal charges, but his family received a $2.4 million settlement from the city of Sacramento. What about these officers? I want to see name. I want to see badges. Moving on. Betham Jean. I'm pretty sure it's Betham Jean, age 26. Now, Betham Jean was murdered in Dallas, Texas in the year 2018. Sitting on the couch in his house eating some motherfucking ice cream, yo. Jean was shot by off-duty police officer Amber Geiger after she entered this apartment believing she said that this was hers and hers. And you know what? I actually heard about this with Bethlehem Jean. Now, actually, this is about this white chick. Now, what it sounded like is this officer was fucking this nigga, right? And he ended up, and I heard this all on the radio. I was listening to it on the Hughley show. You know, he do his little thing in the morning. This is before I was doing my little roofing and we was going out of town. So I've actually heard about that. The white girl is really sound like a jealousy thing where he was fucking her, and because they not putting all of it, he was having sex with this. They not telling you he was having sexual relations with this woman, and I'm pretty sure Buddy said that's it, not no more. I guess he wanted to or do or had his own girl or get new girl or whatnot, and Geiger wasn't feeling that shit. Amber wasn't feeling that shit, and she shot him and killed him. They say ain't nothing like a woman scorn her. Regardless of it, she still murdered him and then try to cover it up as if he was an intruder. How was your house? How was it your house? You just lived in the same apartment building. She was in the wrong house. He's murdered in his house on the couch eating ice cream. She was found guilty and she did 10 years in prison. They asked Geiger to be sentenced to 28 years. And you know how black people do. And we're such a terrific people. Jean's brother, his family, they gave this white bitch a hug, showed her some love as she went off to do her sentence. What'd that tell you about my people? Y'all paint the most fucked up image about my people, the most criminalistic, the most violent, and all of us not like that. And even if he was or used to be, people do change. What once used to be a caterpillar has now become a butterfly. I'm going to just let that marinate. Moving on. Philando Castile, age 32. Now, this thing that happened with Philando happened in Falcon Heights, Minnesota, 2016. He pulled over at a pulled over for a traffic stop. More than likely suspicion. Police on the police dash cam of the traffic stop showed the police officer shooting Castile seconds after he informed him that he had a legal firearm. Castile's girlfriend, Diamond Reynolds, who was in the car along with her 4-year-old daughter, captured the aftermath on Facebook Live. Officer Geronimo Yanez was acquitted of second-degree manslaughter. The city agreed to a $3 million settlement with Castile's mother. Sounds like a cop became scared once he knew it was a gun on the scene. But y'all always like to say, just let us know you got a weapon, but you act like bitches when you see the gun. And what make me mad, most of you motherfuckers be doing y'all be so fucked up in the head. You go to the army, you go to the war and become fucked up. PTSD is real. Shout out to G Herbo doing that Swerving the Stress, where he's helping kids with mental issues, 150 of them, because he got the 150 Dream Team. So, like I said, shout out to G Herbo. I hear a lot of shit niggas talk about them being in the hood, but not doing nothing for the hood. And that's what you do. Stand strong, black empowerment, baby. Shout out to G Herbo. Real kings do real things. Moving on. Alton Sterling, age 37. Now, there's lots of black people that was murdered now. I can only give you so many. I'll be going on and on and on. I'm pretty sure I'll do other podcasters with other names dating back to early 2000, the blacks that was murdered in the 90s. So we're going to make this not a thing, but just to give us some briefing. But anyways, back to what I was saying. Alton Sterling, age 27. This happened in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. In Baton Rouge, 2016. He was murdered. All he was doing was selling DVDs and CDs. Sterling was shot by Officer Blaine Salamani, one of the two officers who confronted him outside of a shop. He was tasered, then pinned to the ground before being shot 6 times. In the video footage, Soleimani can be heard threatening to shoot Sterling in the head, and then after the shooting, repeatedly calling him a stupid motherfucker. Soleimani was fired. Howie Lake II, the other officer involved, was suspended for 3 days. No charges were filed. You see how I'm saying? They catch shit on the dash cam saying irregular things. That type of shit will hold you. Like, if you like, I got arrested, and you ever notice how the police pull you over, they say what you say will be held against you. What you can say or would say could be held against you in the court and all that shit. The Miranda rights. They caught this dude talking shit about Alton Sterling. This happened in Louisiana and Baton Rouge, now. He said, stupid motherfucker, I'll shoot you in your head. You end up killing him anyway. Catch all this shit on the dash cam. One officer get 3-day leave. The other officer, he just got fired. Soleimani, the one who did it, he just got fired. No conviction, no charges. Discuss. Moving on. Michelle, bear with me. I'm sorry to the family, whoever sees this. If I said the last name wrong, I'm sorry. Michelle Kosukiewicz, age 50. Like I said, I'm not going to even try to say it again. Apologies if I said it wrong. This happened in Phoenix, Arizona in 2015. Michelle was at the house. 4 police officers arrived to the scene to sort of court-ordered transport to an inpatient mental facility. Possibly confused, Michelle had an exchange with the officers, probably verbal. But the officers decided to take off her security door. That's the screen. Then you have the door. They took it off. They took off the door, so I'm pretty sure there wasn't no tools on board or at hand, so they probably took the bitch off. They said she charged at him with a hammer, and Sergeant Percy Dupre fired a single shot. She died instantly right after it. Sergeant was demoted, so I guess was under Sergeant Captain. That happened in 2015. I bet Sergeant is a sergeant again, but you see how this shit happens. I've seen them in jails take people with fucked up mental problems carefully. Chain their hands and their legs and their feet and just carry them. Why y'all couldn't do that to Michelle? Whatever. Moving on. Freddie Gray. This is one that really got up under my skin. Alright, because I know how I feel to be in the paddy wagon. If you black, and this is not judging you, this is not holding you accountable for nothing. But if you know how I feel to be in the paddy wagon, imagine you were Freddie Gray when I tell you this story, okay? Black, white, purple, orange, rainbow. Please put yourself in the shoes. Don't be selfish, be selfless. Put yourself in the shoes of Freddie Gray. Freddie Gray, age 25, Baltimore, Maryland. Shout out to my nigga Marty. Shout out to Lo. Yeah. But anyway, killed 2015 in a police van. Nigga, I ain't even got to really hold the phone to read it off. All right? Now, if you seen the video, they already was doing bro fucked and dirty, man. They already did my king dirty, right? They handcuffed him legs and feet. Showered him up and threw him in the back of the patty. Now, if you know how it is in the back of that patty, all the, I ain't gonna say steel, but aluminum barrier, seats, nothing. They threw him in the back of the patty and drove recklessly. Chained up. Legs bounded. He was like this in that bitch, cuz, on folks. He was in there like this, and they drove around, and all he doing is this for 45 minutes. They pulled him out. Neck fucked up, spinal cord irregular. That's what happens when you bounded and you bouncing around and steal aluminum and you just bouncing. That's how they did him. 6 officers were charged in connection with Graves' death. 3 were acquitted. 3 had their cases dropped. The city reached a 6.4 settlement for Graves' family. That was worth $10 million for the disrespect. That's worth $10 million settlement. Those officers should have been. They should have been jailed, kicked off the force, and never given a chance to be on the force again. That one got under my skin. If you can see how I'm looking and feeling, that one really disturbed me that year. Janisha Fonville, age 20, Charlotte, North Carolina, 2015. She was at home. Officers Anthony Halshorn and Sean Sheffield answered a distress call to take Fonville to another mental health thing. They were issued to take her to a mental health facility. According to Fonville's partner, Cornisha Banks, Fonville had a knife earlier and she was worried she might harm herself. So Halshorn shot Fonville. The official account says Fonville lunged at the officers with the knife. Banks says she did not see a knife in Fonville's hand when she was shot. Anthony Halshorn, he was not charged with nothing. I'm gonna put you in the now. Even if he didn't know she was a female, or even if he did his homework, all he seen was dreads. Locks is what we call them. Deeper meaning now. He seen locks in her hair. He seen dreadlocks in her hair. That's all I'm going to say. From there, he made his own nigga from there. Yeah, I said nigga, his own nigger. He made his own nigger from there. All he needed to see was the dreads. Fucked up how they do us. And it's a lot of them. And I'm only just reading some of the ones that really touched me and made me feel ways. Eric Gardner, age 43, 2014. Only selling loose cigarettes, even if he wasn't selling loose cigarettes, man. You know, if you black, white, walked around the city, you see them niggas selling cigarettes, loose cigarettes, all that kind of shit. Officer Daniel Pentelio held Eric in a chokehold that he did not release in spite of Eric saying, "I can't breathe. I 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 can't breathe." He said this shit 11 times, probably more like 1,100 times. Where he sat there and died. The grand jury declined the indictment on Pentelio. He was placed at the desk duty for the incident. Then he was fired in 2019. They gave Gardner's family $5.9 million, which should have been $11 million. He said it 11 times, didn't he? I can't breathe 11 times, right? It should have been 11 fucking million. Akai Gurley, age 28, Brooklyn, New York. This is another one that got to me very, very distasteful. Now remember, some of these same cops that patrol these streets know your faces. They know how you look. They see you. They are patrolled. Like when cops get stations or sanctions or little streets they patrol, they are sent to that area. 9 times out of 10, they stay in that area or near that area. So 9 times out of 10, these cops see you repeatedly or know your face or your vehicle, bruh. So don't think you the dope boy with the big rims and you know that you're being seen. Don't think you're not being seen. They're watching. They know. There's another one that disturbed me. He was walking down. Y'all know how Brooklyn is. Y'all know them apartments, man. He walking down the stairs or walking up the stairs in the building. The police officer, Peter Liang, and his partner was conducting a vertical patrol in the housing projects. Peter entered the building and he fired his gun at a car. Said that the bullet bounced off and killed Gurley. doesn't give you no what happened or nothing. You telling me you supposed to be the police officer, even if you were in a hallway that wasn't probably lighted, like how you see, even if you was in a hallway with poor lighting, you're a police officer. Your pussy ass get shook and shoot because you see a person coming out the darkness or the shadows? Or is it something deeper than that? Because it don't add up. Moving on, man. Gabrielle Navarez, Gabriela Navarez, age 22. This happened in Sacramento, California, 2014. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm just gotta collect myself. I get pissed about reading all this kind of shit, and it happens to our women too. I heard about Sandra Bland. Anyways, in 2014, Gabriella was driving. The officers, was more than likely, there's always more. They asked her to pull over. She ran to the car. The police start to shoot at her. They start shooting at her. I guess the two officers put on administrative leave. But y'all think it's okay to catch, to murder people. What if this happened to your family, Mr. Officer, Miss Officer? What if somebody murdered your daughter, your son? Cold blood. Another one. This happened in my city, in Cleveland, Ohio. Tamir Rice, age 12, pussy ass cop. No, let me say it in order, because I'm letting my emotions take over. Mind over matter. Cleveland, Ohio, Tamir Rice, young boy, looked exactly like Emmett Till if you look at the pictures. Looked exactly like Emmett Till, died kind of a young age like Emmett Till and everything. Not to put that on young brother and not to say they have any relations, but look at it. Go look at it. Go ahead. 2014, he was out there playing with a BB gun, cuz. He played with a BB gun. Police, they show up. Officer Timothy Lomain. The police, look, let me read this to you. You know what? I never even read the story. Let me read this to you. Within 2 seconds of the arriving at the park, Officer Timothy Lomain had fatally shot Tamir Rice. They shot him as soon as they pulled up, as soon as they seen the gun. Not even as soon as they seen it. Even if he a 12-year-old boy, why would he be out there waving a real gun with real police that happen with real situations in real life every day? Timothy Lomain had fatally shot Tamir Rice 2 seconds after arriving to the park. The police then tackled his 14-year-old sister, Tajay, to the ground. They handcuffed her and put her in the back of the police car. It took 4 minutes for the officer to administer first aid to Rice. He died at the hospital the following day. They let him bleed out. They let him. Look at the little nigga. All right, you gonna learn now, little nigga. Little ass nigga. Now, that's how I feel they was talking. The old man and Officer Frank Garm-Burke, who was with him, were indicted. Garm-Burke was suspended for 10 days. The city of Cleveland agreed to pay Rice family $6 million to settle. The lawsuit. Lawman was later fired for like, who cares? I guess he lied on his job application, but it was a little bit too late. Y'all done let him already murder somebody. And the thing about it, y'all fired a bitch ass nigga when he has a whole murder charge on his rap sheet. I ain't even put him in jail. Y'all just felt like, well, he shouldn't be waving a BB gun. America is spelled with 3 Ks because to add a C will always let you remember you are in a Morocco. Michael Brown, 2014, he was walking with his friend. White police officers decided to scuffle with this boy for what apparent reason, to fuck with these kids for no reason. No reason. Y'all know most of these kids be strong, they play football, they athletic built. Basketball, training ass kids. You chunky ass white boy, you wrestled with the boy, they scuffling. What ended up going down? He ended up shooting him down. Cop ended up shooting him down. And just recently, if you see that the officer, and I'm gonna tell you his name, Wilson, Darren Wilson, they say they hit it with the self-defense, the self-defense plea. Nobody was charged, and if you've seen recently, nobody was charged in the Michael Brown case. 18-year-old young black male. Tanisha Anderson, this is another thing that happened out here in my city. Tanisha Anderson was age 37, okay? This happened in 2014. It's 2020, man. Tanisha Anderson had got, the family had called 911 for help because Tanisha, you know, they say she bipolar. And I guess he was trying to leave the house. I bet y'all wish y'all never called. But you only being like most people. You think the police is here to protect and serve. Not you, the rich ones. They're only here to protect their rich shit and serve for them. Officers Scott Aldridge and Brian Myers convinced Anderson to return to the mental health facility, another mental health case. They walked her to her vehicle, but then they followed in a dispute. The officer said then she then fell to the ground. Who just falls to the ground? She just fell to the ground. 21 minutes before paramedics arrived, she's pronounced dead. They said she fell to the ground, then she was handcuffed. And what happened? How she just fall to the ground? Aldridge was suspended for 10 days without pay. Myers was issued with a written warning. Only $2.2 million awarded to the family. These officers, Officer Scott Aldridge and Brian Myers still work for the Cleveland Police Force today. You in Cleveland, you run into these niggas, tell them who they are, let them know what they did. They're wrong. Like I said, these are only just a few that have been murdered by the police. There's many, many more. Tomorrow I'll be bringing you. We'll talk a little bit more about prior, like how long this shit been going on, and I'm gonna bring it back down to dates. And we're gonna talk about, since they like to talk about us so violently, how we all criminals and shit, how we all gangs. Next podcast, we're gonna be talking about where gangs really came from, where gangs originated from, and how gangs really started, okay? Because a gang is another way of saying gangster. All right? We had tribes and everything we came from. So don't just hold on, young. Listen to me. Don't be discouraged. Don't look down. Pick your head up. You a king. You come from greatness. My queen, beautiful black woman. You come from greatness. Don't let no one tell you different. Learn yourself. Bring back to the respect and the wisdom and the value to self. Money isn't power. Knowledge is. They pay people good money for what you know. Thank you for watching Living Life Live. I'm King Serene, and you guys enjoy your evening.